Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last part of my Korean journey. I'm going to go through a couple of videos. This has been a long time coming, about 6 months or so, and it's quite interesting because on the date that I'm recording this, exactly 6 years ago, 2016 ish, let's just confirm. Yeah, on the date that I'm recording this particular video, I was on my way back to South Africa. On the date of my recording this, people were already getting ready to come in to the TaLK program. Most of the people, the new people in the TaLK program, probably might have landed already to have like a 2-week vacation before the TaLK program actually happened. But people were coming in and getting ready for the next generation of TaLK. And yeah, we're gonna go through a couple of videos and a couple of photos, and then I'm gonna, you know, talk about my thoughts on South Korea and the stuff that I've learned there. And I might randomly release another video, maybe, or two, if I think of something else. All of this is basically not scripted. I wanted to write down some thoughts about stuff in Korea, but I decided, you know what, let's approach it the way I approached my Korean videos, where I just talk as we go through things and, remember things on the spot. So, the last couple of videos I told you about that trip that we had to Seoul, where we went to visit the DMZ and everything. And also, it was sort of like a Christmassy vibe in the hotel that we stayed over at, just to like have a final send off. By this time, I knew that I was leaving, and it was quite an emotional time for me, quite a sad. It was a beautifully sad time for me, beautifully emotional time for me. After that trip, I went back and taught for another week or so. No, then I after that trip, I went back and taught for about another 3 weeks before I actually had to leave. And it was, like I said, it was emotional. One of the cooler parts of the trip was this. This was the foyer, the entrance area of the hotel where we stayed at, and it was magical. Like, just that made it magical. And I mean, if you look at the other one, you can see, like, I think this one led to the actual reception area, It was a giant hotel somewhere in Seoul. I wish I remembered where we stayed at. And like a lot of functions and stuff was held in that hotel. And it was just very, very brilliant, Spoke to a few people there for the last time, and, it was sad to be there. The one guy that joined me in my apartment was kind of like a dick, but I didn't let that get me over. Like, now that I'm talking about it, I remember he was kind of like a dick. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to appreciate Korea and Seoul for the last time. Because the next time I would be in Seoul was to basically go to the airport and leave. Not stay over anywhere in Seoul, not do anything. Basically just go over, go to Seoul, get to the airport, and board and wait for 2-3 hours and leave. It was quite tough. I think we're going to go through these photos first before before I continue on, and I've made them sort of in order. Let's just see here. Yeah, this particular photo was taken, I think, like my last morning, when I was doing the cleaning of the apartment and everything. And you could see that I wasn't really happy, you know. I wasn't really happy on that day. I wasn't really happy. That day I planned a couple of things. I remember I planned like to have one trip through the through Gochang and just take in the memories and remember things that happened. It took me a while, but to remember things that happened. And this is another one where I was like at the bus stop. You could see I wasn't happy. You could see like I wasn't willing to accept what is happening. But, you know, that's the face of someone just accepting what is happening and trying to get on with his life and trying to put on a brave face. I wasn't really, you know, feeling it. Okay, I haven't put them in order, by the way, now that I look at them. But yeah, you know, we've got the next one's probably going to be to do something with my school. In the last Korean vlog video, I showed this one to you. This was just a still of it. I just took pictures in case I would miss it. You know, remember Korea, big love and peace, big mogi, and all of that the kids made for me on the last days. So it's basically like a mix and match between my last couple of days and my last day at school. Now, this part was taken, this photo was taken on my final day at school, the upcoming photo. And what I did, and I'm trying not to get emotional, what I did first is I took a picture of the school's entrance stone thing, which says Shimwon Chodung Hakyo, right? And at the bottom you see there 2011 something. Let me just open it up here where it's bigger. 2011, the 8th month and the first day. 8th month, I don't know what the 8th month is, but anyway. I'm not going to try and figure that out. And what I did is I took a photo, and then I went back to the bus stop and basically walked up to the school as if I was to go to school that day. And I stood for a while with my hand on my chest, like this. Probably for about 5 minutes with my hand on my chest. And I took a bow. And I said, hopefully this doesn't cover my face. If it does, so what? I took a bow, looked at the school. I said thank you. In Korean, 감사합니다. And then, 안녕히 계세요, which means I'm leaving. I'm saying goodbye, but you're staying. Essentially, that is what you tell to someone when you're leaving. You say that to someone when you're leaving and they're staying behind. And I said 안녕히 계세요. Probably wrong pronunciation there, but that was my way of saying goodbye and thank you to the school, you know. And now back to that previous video where I showed like the previous photo where I was like exploring Gochang. That was basically, I eventually shaved my mustache off because I wanted to look different than what I looked on the day, right? So I was just exploring Gochang and everything, and what I did is I went and explored it, and I got home, and I decided, okay, let's look different and go explore a final bit of Gochang, right? And then I took this photo on the last day. I don't really remember where that photo was taken. I'm trying to think where it was taken. It was outside. I don't even remember taking this photo. But as you can see, I'm still not happy. I'm smiling. But, you know, the smile is pretty much useless. But it was taken in Gochang. I think it was like on the second trip I made that day through Gochang. And I wore the thinnest clothing and whatever to just breathe in and feel the cold. You know what I mean? And then that night, now this is the last night. The next day I would go to Seoul. I would clean up my apartment, hand over my keys to the landlord, and leave for Seoul, you know. And that night, like it was snowing during the day, as you see in the previous video, in the previous photo, that night I decided, you know what, let's take a picture of what it looks like outside my apartment at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when there's little to no foot traffic on the snow, you know, little to no foot traffic on the snow. Now this was, if I walked out of my apartment and I immediately turned right, that was the view of my apartment. Right, if you look to where that car's wheel is, that front part of the car, that's the area of the big shopping center. That was the big shopping center area. Down this street, I'd find a vet, I'd find a pet store, and obviously the eatery right there. Right next to me, like you can't really see it, but on the left-hand side, right-hand side of the right-hand side of the photo, that's where I bought my chicken from. So this is the right-hand side as you exit my apartment. If I said left hand previously, I'm sorry, it's the right hand. Wait, yeah, it's the right hand. I had to figure that out quickly. And the next one is in the direction to the left. If I remember correctly, it's in the direction to the left when you exit my apartment towards the bus terminal, right? Towards the bus terminal. Now, this was... I stood there, I took the photo, and I realized the finality of it all. Tomorrow morning, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to walk this road for the last time. I was going to smell... I stood there, and the actinic smell of snow. It's the last time I'm going to smell that. Oh, I left a lot behind in South Korea. But yeah, that was the last picture in Gochang that I took of South Korea, in South Korea. Let me just see. I don't think there's anything left. Okay. So, you know, it was my last time. And looking back on it, what, 6 years later? 2016 I came back. 6 years later. Wait, it is. Yeah, it is 6 years. Exactly 6 years. I can look back on it and think with a sort of a clearer mind of everything that I've experienced, right? But that will have to wait for the next video. I just saw the time here that we're recording for. That'll have to wait for the next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. This is going to be a two-parter, and then it's going to be the end. Thank you for watching. Hug someone you love. Tell them you love them. And in the next video, until the next video, you should have a good one.